Hello guys, welcome back to another building video, and today we've got a pretty cool challenge. We're building a bakery slash sort of like, it's a sort of like a cool 90s sort of vibe bakery, I guess a little bit earlier as well, or a little bit later as well. And I'm really excited for this build. I leaked in the last one. I think it went pretty good. The last video went amazing, so this video I'm really hoping it did good. I was thinking for this sort of vibe here, having a little bit of a glass display now, because most of this build would actually be the little like things, like I'm thinking about making cupcakes, cookies and macaroons, because I've seen in basically every single person's video macaroons, so I'm going to attempt to do that today. And this build is going really well already. I've been trying to get this little bit though here, this like glass barrier, to actually work with me, but it did not for ages, and this took ages, and I tell you again, it took ages. So as I finally got it to actually work, it decided that it's going to work with me perfectly, and it did. So I got it all working, got it all up to date, I guess, in a sense of how it's going to do it all, and it decided, yep, we're going to do this, we're going to work with you and give you a brilliant thing. So I was thinking about doing that glass panel thing, but then I realised it would not look that good, so I decided to go with these sort of like normal wall panel things, which worked perfect. Nothing really happened with it. This build is very sort of like inspirational, like I got it just by someone. I've definitely not thought of this idea. I think I got it off a river. I've got it off a river video of someone where they had the bunny bakery. I think they were touring all the houses and found the bunny bakery, and I thought it'd be a good idea. And so I decided I'm gonna give it a whack a go, you know, try and give it a go, and I think it went out well. So here I'm just trying to get everything set up, because I want to get to making the actual things as soon as possible, and I'm gonna start in a second on making all these things, and hopefully I should do really well. So I was wanting to start with a cupcake here, and I did have an idea to use quite a few of these little bits, and in my opinion I think I got them to work out really well. I didn't know what like colour I actually originally wanted everything to be, but then at the end I figured out what every colour should be, and then I used all that. Okay, so now I was sort of trying to use this teacup thing, because I thought they could make like quite a nice circly top bit, which it did. It worked actually really well, and I was just trying to get the size perfectly right, because I didn't want it to be too small or too big or anything like that, because I wanted it to be perfect. So I tried to make some icing bits over here. Everything about the icing and everything really in this cupcake went really well, in my opinion. It didn't look as what I was wanting it to do fully, I guess, but it held up to what the standards that I was thinking it was going to look like. I think it didn't look as good as some of the other stuff that I made, but it was probably still better than some of the other stuff. So I chose a little like sort of like very light blue here, just to sort of make it look like the Pupcake, I think it's called, in Adopt Me. That's what my sort of example was here, which I was looking at, and I think it came out quite like it. I was wanting like a 4-box of cupcakes here, and I did that. Now, I would definitely say this is my most expensive build that's happening, I think, because it is going to require a lot of different parts. So I wanted to now go on to the cookie, which that's what I did do, and we went into it, and I decided to make this thing massive and then shrink it all down to make it a lot easier. I didn't know what blocks to use because I've seen different cookies, but normally I just use circles, but I also seen about like using bricks as well, so I tried to incorporate some of that inside the build. Okay, so then I finally got it basically right until it all broke, which is very annoying because every single thing just decided to break down on me. Okay, so now the second version did work really well, which came out to be the version I used, and I wanted to add it on this little stand thing by just using a brick, which I've like seen at actual bakeries, and I think it definitely did look really good, and it worked all really well. So I decided after this I'm going to work now on the macaroons, because I think that they're a very big and important part of this like bakery, because it's like what everyone else has really. So I was trying to go for all the same colour, but then I realised that it probably would be better to have all different colours. So I got the main colour done and then took it over to do all the other colours. Now I wanted this to be very small, just so that I can fit quite a lot into like a rectangular circle sort of formation, and I did, and it I think went pretty well with me being able to put a massive macaroon right in the middle of it, and did really well. So I put these macaroons in this shape, and then I basically decided that I'm going to do all different colours that I used on a image that I sort of found, and I used them all on this image which is from real life, not from Adopt Me. And I think I could have done them a little bit better by adding them a little bit more like crispy on the edges, maybe adding a few more details, but I think that might have been too much for this build, because this build was not meant to be massive when it came in, not my light blue build where I sort of had a lot of things happening. This was meant to be like a a bakery that you would just go to just to get some of these small little things, a bit like a dessert place. So then I decided to make not massive, but the biggest macaroon in the middle, so it sort of like separates all the macaroons, but then also brings them all together, which sort of finished off most of the dessert section over here. I added a few little bits after that though, but I decided that I was going to do a pet display here, because I thought that could be quite a good idea to have Mingu, one of my favourite pets, remaining to inside of it. So I learned this trick sort of thing, like the pets stay the same size even if you shrink it down. I was going to use Jumper at first, but then I moved on to using Mingu just because I thought that they would look a lot better because they were a bit more taller. So I moved on to the booths and tables. I thought the booths would look really good, but they ended up looking okay. I definitely think that chairs or some other thing could do a lot better now I'm thinking about it. But I think I was happy with the booth idea just because of it had a good way of showing it's a bit more olden style than newer style. So then I decided to do all these boosts, which I forgot to actually colour until later on, which I realised about 5 seconds later when I realised that I could have just coloured one and then copied the rest. Whippy me. And basically I decided that I was also going to do this like sort of mirror thing, but it didn't work out because it felt too modern, so I instead went with these floor panels that I normally use just for the floor, and instead said that there's little stepping stones because I do enjoy having little stepping stones for stuff. Now I think if I did this again, this build, I would add a more wide variety of stuff that's on here, just because I felt like there wasn't that much actually on the floor of the entire thing. And I definitely think I'd add more windows into this build if I did again. But we've still got more reveals, so let's go. I wanted to go with some paintings, and I didn't realise I could fully colour every single aspect of this painting. I figured out I could, which is brilliant, and this went really well. I do wish Adopt Me had the thing like Bloxburg does, where you can put in your own image, because then that could be really, really good. And I think that that'll be a very, very light update if Adopt Me did add it. Now it took me absolutely forever to actually do this one tiny, well not tiny, but one painting that just seemed to just not want to work. But finally got it to work. I wanted to just use some of these more floorboards on the back of this wall because I didn't really like the look of it. I think if I wanted to, I could have put these on every single wall, but I wanted this to not look like it's stuffed with stuff. Like, I wanted the main thing just to be about the 3 desserts, and it's a small bakery, and the story is about, it's like Mingu, because he's getting older, he opened up a little bakery, and it's Mingu's bakery now. So I added this little bowl as like a mixing bowl here, and I didn't really do anything to it. I just left it like that because I wanted to also make a small little area that looks like I guess where you make all these like different baked treats. So I decided to add a lot of stuff, like I added an oven, a fridge, some ice cream coaster things, as look like little like cupcake baking holder things, because I thought they would look really good. I added like a little macaroon shell on the side, which I thought looked quite good, and this ice cream maker in what I made, and I made that, and added it all to it. So this is sort of like the final touches of the build. There was not much really more I could add other than a few decor options, like some more bottles or like I was gonna add some knives and forks, but that didn't work. So I just looked in the food section and I found this like donuts, which I had quite a lot of them saved up in my storage, and then I kept on looking back if I found anything else, and I found these icing things which I thought could do quite well if I did that. I added these little barrels, which I was going to turn into seats, but then I thought there's no point turning into seats because then I'll just block the view. And I made this like wooden blocks all together a little bit ago, and then I thought I could use it as a sort of stand for a TV, because it kind of also looked like a barrel full of juice. I was going to put a wardrobe in here just to have it look like it's keeping all the ingredients in there, but then I realized I got the fridge. So I also wanted to add a few of these doorways, so it had a circular in doorway where you came in like that. So I added all that. So everything in this build is quite simple in my opinion. I definitely think I could have added to it, but I felt like I definitely enjoyed how it was just quite nice and not too much. I added this ice cream machine to sort of also look a bit like an icing machine instead of an ice cream, and added these cups and candles and all that sort of stuff, just basically everywhere, so that it could look a bit more authentic and like we're using candles instead of lights and all that sort of stuff. I added a few of these candlesticks up on these little bits, and then this was sort of it. I felt like I didn't think I could add anything more, so this is a wide view of the build. Had the barrels, all the paintings, all the food, these macaroons I was really proud of. We had Mingo over here, and that was sort of the build. So anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed the video and thank you for watching. Bye.